Hello, Bobs. We're back with day 3 of my book, Extravaganza, which began with an auspicious thought. I was given a tip the other day while at a Salvation Army by the cashier who apparently worked at a downriver, which is basically the Kentucky of Michigan. In fact, old newspapers used to call it Old Kentuck, downriver area. Southgate in particular, not the newspaper, but that's where I went on the recommendation of the cashier who had transferred from that one to another location, and it was not fun. I mean, I got a pile of books there, but if I'm honest, I probably wouldn't have got half of these books if it wasn't for the fact that I had needed books. Today I got 33, so I surpassed my limit. But I get there, and about 7 minutes into looking, some guy, of course, there's always a dude with a tattoo and a Detroit hat and a wonky eye who says, "Hey, it's good to see someone looking for books who isn't scanning them to make profit." Check it out. It's Lion Cat. Oh no, Lion Cat's gonna fight. What's his name? Oh no. Anyway, yeah. So he goes on and on, tells me about how he's found first editions of Clockwork Orange. Every book that you could imagine that's a first edition, he's found it for $3 or $4. And of course he had to flip it for thousands, millions maybe. But this fucking guy went on and on, and I had to listen to it. Finally he left, and my bladder was about to burst because apparently downriver they close off the public restrooms for some reason. Maybe crackheads hang out in there. And the one I finally, after an hour and 10 minutes, I found one place where I could actually go in, and it said that people had been destroying the bathroom. So my guess is crackheads. But anyway, back to the books. We got some decent ones. Drawing Down the Moon: Witches, Druids, Goddess Worshippers, and Other Pagans in America Today. It's an old classic. I don't know if I have this one actually, but I do now. It's like a field book for witches, of which I have tons of books. And I sometimes consort with witches, though not much anymore. The Devil Cat Screamed, since I do have cats outside and they scream and fight and eat and fornicate, obviously, because there's new and newer ones. I picked this one up. Might read it on this channel. It's a ludicrous title and a ludicrous cover, so of course I got it. This book, Rays of Hope, a critical and hopeful, I think he meant hopefully, cultural history of the American automotive business. I doubt it's anything of that. He looks like a preacher. John Wisner is the president of the High Performance Group, Inc., a business consulting firm. He resides in West Bloomfield with his wife, Belinda. I don't know what, I mean, this is the Auto Capital, though, so I grabbed it just because you never know what's in there. You never know. It's local. It doesn't look like it's something I need, but whatever. It's local. Maybe there is something. Doubtfully, but I got it because the guy was just driving me insane. Susan Musgrave, Canadian classic series, What the Small Day Cannot Hold, collected poems, 70 to 85. I've all but given up on poetry because most of it's really bad, but I needed books today, so I got it. I do have quite a large collection, not large collection of poetry books, maybe 100 and some books. I guess that's large. The Bobbsey Twins on a Houseboat, purposely bought to resell. Probably worth $8 or $9. I think I may have a couple other copies of this series. Noam Chomsky, Profit Over People, Neoliberalism and Global Order. Basically everything that's wrong with the world, Noam Chomsky supports. And he puts tags of profit over people while he's profiting. And the people get nothing. But I still have a collection of his books just because. The 60s, Years of Hope, Days of Rage, Todd Gitlin. Pretty sure you know what the 60s were about. Drugs, Woodstock, political upheaval, riots, assassinations, cosmos chaos in the world to come, the ancient roots of the apocalyptic faith. I often shy away from getting books about religion, but on occasion I will, like I did this book, The Five Gospels, What Jesus Really Said. Not that I'm ever going to read them, but you never know. There may be a blackout at some point, and then the world stops, and I'll just start reading every freaking book I got. But I do like the apocalyptic sense, because it does seem like we're at the apocalypse, even though I don't believe in it. The Copernicus complex, or cosmic significance in a universe of planets and probabilities. Can't go wrong with Copernicus, even though I don't believe 90% of science. I think much of space is fake. I needed like that. Patient AM, Memory, Madness, and Family Secrets. Something to do with electroshock treatment and that shit in the 1950s, which I have numerous books on. Don't know if it's worth anything. Got it just because. All right, I gotta sneeze. Hold on. The aforementioned five Gospels. What did Jesus really say? The search for the authentic words of Jesus. I don't know what he said. Don't care. I don't even care what I say, but I mean, all of this is conjecture. And you can say that's what Jesus said, but you don't know. You don't know. A Keeper of Bees, Notes on Hive and Home. Alison Wallace. An absolute delight. Under Alison Wallace's gentle gaze, bees turn out to be a lot like humans. Wise, courageous, fragile, resilient like Annie Dillard. Wallace has a playful eye for the world's ineffable magic, and the subtlety and compassion of her language raises natural history to the level of literature. That's just a wonderful book. Yeah, it goes to my bee collection too. Daddy's Duchess, an unauthorized biography of Doris Duke. Probably wouldn't have got this if it wasn't signed by the author. As a teenager in the 1920s, at her father's death, Doris Duke received the nickname the richest girl in the world. Well, that girl has certainly grown up, and now in her 70s, she is a strong-willed and determined woman whose fabulous wealth has grown to proportions that stagger even her. Apparently, she has all kinds of phobias and stuff, and didn't want to go out. Development from a shy but determined child, she sued her mother at age 14 to gain some control of the family estate. To a woman of hedonistic abandon who, isolated on her Hawaiian estate, sought the meaning in life through drugs, sex, Eastern philosophy, and jazz. In the present, we see a woman who has been through it all and is still searching. Basically a moron. But it's signed, so I got a book on a moron that's signed. The Voyage of the Dawn Treader, The Chronicles of Narnia. It's a hardcover, so I figured I couldn't go wrong. I've seen some of the Chronicles of Narnia at the drive-in, of all places. Got this at a thrift store where everything was half off for this month, as stated yesterday. So it cost me 50 cents, but I don't even think this one, maybe she did charge me 50 cents. This one, I think I got charged $1. Yeah. The Rubaiyat of Omar Khayyam, whatever you say it is. I've started collecting these Peter Popper press books again just because they have the little wood block cuts. Probably not worth anything, but don't care. They're nice little books. Nice little short books. Small, pocket size. Can't beat it. I think I only paid $0.25 for it. The lady at the thrift store said, well, usually we charge 90 cents for these hardcovers, but for today I'm going to give this to you so for like $0.25. So I got like 7 different smaller books and this book. I think it was this one, this one, this one, this one. What's it? 6 books for $1.50. So I think she charged me maybe less than 25 cents. I don't know what she did, but it was like $1.50. Focus on Chaplin. Just like I don't believe in science, I do believe that Charlie Chaplin was Adolf Hitler. Or was a model for the Illuminati to set up Hitler, who obviously wasn't an accident, since he was paid for and propped up by Wall Street and American industry, probably the CIA as well, and Chaplin basically is little Hitler. Now these books. Clairvoyant Countess by Dorothy Gilman, the best-selling author of the famous Miss Halifax novels, introduces a fascinating new heroine. Detective work in a new dimension, an entertaining tale in the best tradition of Mrs. Halifax. I got it for the clairvoyant countess aspect of it, the paranormal aspect. Just like I got this one for the gothic romance. Avalon by Anya Seton. Avalon brings pulsing life to distant places, to new worlds, and the constants of faith, love, and hope. It is a heady novel of broad canvas. No, it's a bunch of schlock. This is a fucking perplexing little book. Elf Help for Coping with Cancer. I mean, you want to find a book that's tone deaf to the fact that you have cancer and could die. You're going to fucking read Humor with Elves. You have fears about the future, how you'll feel, what will happen to your family. It's good to identify with an elf. Be prepared to give yourself time and do lots of waiting. I mean, why do you need an elf to tell you this bullshit as you potentially fucking tumble headlong towards your death? Elf Help for Coping with Cancer suggests how you can react to your illness and also act in ways that will help you heal by denying existence. Or I guess elves help you grow closer to God too. Weird. Vatican. Since the hardcover book's worth money, I assume that the mass market paperback is, even though this one has moisture exposure. If I can flip it for $10, that'd be great. If not, maybe I'll read it on the channel and destroy the book. Interview with the Vampire by Anne Rice. Obviously an early edition of the mass market. What is this? 76? This might be a first. First Ballantine Books, May 1977. This one might actually be worth some money. Scratch. And win. Lays. Buy gas and get a bonus. 4 times Canadian Tire. For Stan Rice, Carol Malkin, and Alice O'Brien Borchard. Oh, that one might be worth some monies. Dr. Zhivago. Now a great new Metro Golden Mayer motion picture. A signet book complete and unabridged. Like mass markets. And this is a Tim Tiefer, A224 Bailey Hall. Give him a call. Don't think he'll still be there. The Great Invention Man's Literary and Moral History, the great novel that was suppressed in Russia, praised as a masterpiece throughout the free world. Mr. Boston's Deluxe Official Bartender's Guide. The largest line of fine liquors in the world, Old Mr. Boston. It's mostly just recipes. 4 drinks. Old classic. Sold quite a few of these. Not many recently, but I generally sell them as a bulk lot of several different editions. This is a late 70s edition. One of the first plays I found downriver, or one of the first books, as soon as I mentioned that I collect Detroit Public Library, the guy with the wonky eye, and all the stories of flipping books, told me that he worked at every place on the planet. Every place that's known. He knew every bookseller, every record store owner, anything you can imagine, he did it. Detroit Public Lib. This is Shadow Play, which is basically puppet theater. Although I think these are... I don't know how you make shadows on the wall with stuff like this, but... Is it puppet theater? I believe it is. Anyway, I got this one. Seemed like an interesting little book, Shadow Play. This one I bought from the local library, which has a sale. 3 paperbacks for $1 and 3 hardcovers for $2. This is the free book I got. Backup by Jim Butcher, which is worth some money. Although it is a ex-library, so that will cut down on its value, but we'll see if I can sell it. Make a little profit. Pay for a bunch of these books. Lincoln Portrait of a Marriage, obviously, is marriage to Mary Todd. At least I think it wasn't to Mary Todd. It was Mary Todd, right? Yeah. Makes acute and accurate assessments of the relationship between Abe and Mary. And he wasn't called Abe either. I read somewhere that he was always went by Abraham. Not Abe. The Romance of Tristan and Isolde, as retold by Joseph Bédier. The first complete English edition, brilliantly translated. Throughout it retains the beauty and sentimentality that have made it one of legendary literature's most fascinating tales. Tristan and Isolde. Don't know where the story originates from, but I remember that Wagner covered it in music. Modern Jennies, the Irish in Detroit. which is obviously a history of Irish people in Detroit. I have this book, I believe. I plan to sell this copy. It's usually worth 10 to 15 bucks. If I can flip it and make some money, that'd be great. Legends of Dracula, an A&E biography. I think you pretty much know everything about Dracula that you need to know. So yeah. This book, I believe I have Midnight Graffiti. Features Rainy Season by Stephen King. Harlan Ellison, Dan Simmons, David Shaw. I believe I have the paperback version. And I also believe that this was worth some money. Maybe I'm wrong. If it's not, or if I have the same copy, oh well, I don't care. I got it. I scanned the back and put it on my Libib, but I couldn't find it, so I either have the soft cover or the ISBN is just shit. The Norse myths. Obviously, myths about Norse people. Thor's duel with Hrungnir. Yeah, myths about the Norse. Exactly what it says. The killing of Robert Kennedy. An investigation of motive, means, and opportunity. I mean, we know it was a hit by the CIA. Not done by Sirhan Sirhan. Sure, this book's worth nothing since it has a special value of $5 when it came out, but you never know. That's right, watch me pull off a sticker. And finally, the only astrology book you'll ever need. Cast your own chart. Taurus, hey, amorous combinations. Taurus and Gemini. These two are completely unlike in temperament. Taurus is stolid, fixed in opinions, resistant to change. Gemini is flighty, restless, vacillating, but they may find each other intriguing for that very reason. For a little while, Gemini is attracted to Taurus's passions, but in time, Taurus's instinct for security and stability will be offended by volatile Gemini. Taurus is too much a creature of habit to go along with Gemini's constant need for new stimulation. Eventually, Taurus' demands are simply too much for Gemini, who seeks escape. Don't touch my face. Goodbye. Cowards. Speaking of goodbye, bravs. Goodbye.